Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are so excited that y'all could join us today for Planoly Presents Approachable Design. My name is Sarah. I am the Brand Partnerships Coordinator here at Planoly, and today we are joined with Sarah as well from Lapse. She is the founder and CEO. If this is y'all's first time with Planoly or Lapse, welcome. We're really excited that y'all could find us. So Planoly is a social media marketing platform just to kind of help you all get your social media marketing simplified. Sarah is the founder of Lapse, as I mentioned, and Lapse is a stop motion app. So that helps you kind of add motion in a creative way to your social media and everywhere else as well. So we're excited that y'all could join us for this Keep It Moving workshop to help you all learn how to add motion to your social media, to your brand, everything that you want to promote in a fun and creative way, and kind of give you those tools that you need to get started. So as everyone is entering, please go to that chat box. I see a few of y'all are already doing it. Make sure it's to all panelists and to all attendees so that everyone can see. And then let us know where you're joining in from so that we can see kind of where everyone is coming from today. Some Portland, Spain. So in Austin, I'm in Austin. So glad that you were able to join us after the crazy weather last week.
Yeah, I hope you guys are safe.
Yes.
Ooh, awesome. I see some Canadians joining.
Yeah. Cool.
Denmark.
Well, welcome everyone. Cool. Like I mentioned, we're really excited to have you all join us today. By joining, you are getting entered into a giveaway that we have. So that giveaway is a free year of Planoly, a free year of Stories Edit, and then also a Lapse account and kit. So everything that you need to get your stop motion in order, which means Lapse Pro and a light and tripods and all of those different things that you may not realize can definitely help you out. So thank you to Lapse for that. And if you don't want to pay for a program or anything like that, that's totally fine too. Both of us have free apps, so don't feel pressured to do that. But if you do want to try out a pro account for either of us, we do have a discount code for everyone joining today for Planoly, so you get 1 month free. And then also you can get 1 month free of Lapse Pro by going to a link that we will be sharing with y'all a little bit later to get that discount. Awesome. Well, it's great to see everyone so engaged in that chat box. One little note that we want to have for the chat box today, we love to have everyone network and connect, and it's really exciting to see all of that happen. But if we could save that for our Facebook group, that would be great. That way we can all connect on there and save everyone's information so that y'all can all connect with everyone and not get distracted from the workshop. So make sure to join our Facebook group today. And also at the end of the workshop, we will have a 15-minute Q&A with Sarah. So go ahead, go to that Q&A box and add any questions during the workshop. But if we don't get to it, make sure you join that Facebook group again, because Sarah will be there for the hour after the workshop to answer any questions that we haven't answered so far. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone again for joining us. And I guess we can get started with Sarah.
Sounds good. All right, let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see this?
Yes, it looks great.
Okay, good, because I don't see a chat box. So I'm like, can you see this? All right, well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to teach you today about bringing some motion into your social media channels. So I'm Sarah, as the other Sarah mentioned. I'm the founder and CEO of Lapse, and we're a stop motion video app. So if you're not familiar with stop motion, that tiny little video you see on the right there, that is a stop motion video. And our app, it makes it super easy to create stop motion videos, and we really want to empower our users to create these eye-catching, professional-looking videos using their phone. So typically with stop motion, you do need $500 desktop software, DSLR cameras connected to your computer. It's a very complex, tedious process. And similar to Planoly, we want to simplify that whole process. So we're going to dive in today to, oh, sorry, got ahead of myself there. We're going to dive in on techniques that you can be doing for stop motion and how you can incorporate them for your personal brand or your business brand, or maybe you're working for another company to create some really eye-catching videos. So this is me. As I mentioned, I'm Sarah, and the first thing you need to know about me is I am a creative first, entrepreneur second. So I went to film school, and for the first 5 years of my career, I worked in-house for different brands in their marketing departments, creating their social media videos. And I absolutely loved it. I saw how huge video storytelling was getting for brands and how important it was for brand awareness, for social media growth. And this was my 9-to-5 job. And then on evenings and weekends, I was freelancing like crazy. So I would do everything from filming weddings to shooting influencer photos and working with small businesses to help them create their video assets. But one thing I noticed with small businesses, and small businesses always have my heart, because as a freelancer, I kind of resonated as a small business, and you're wearing 1,000 different hats and you have to do all these things, and it can get very overwhelming. And you also, they don't have the budget to hire professional videographers to create these videos that are, a couple minutes long for social media. You can see my gear kit on the top right there, and my lovely dog who's posing. I have thousands of dollars worth of gear, and to hire me to create your 60-second social media video is not going to be cheap. So when I saw how important video was getting on social media for brands, along with how good the iPhone cameras were getting, and the lack of time and money that these small businesses had, I really saw a big opportunity to basically democratize video creation. And as I mentioned, I'm a creator first, so I'm maybe one of the top users of the app. I use it a lot. So it does come from somebody who knows all the pain points. And I think that's why we've had quite the success that we've had so far today. We have almost 2 million users. And I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. Just a little fun fact. So this is Lapse, and you can download it on iPhone or Android, and it's free to download. You can create as many projects as you want for free and save them. If you want access to our pro features in the app, you will need the pro version of the app, which you'll be getting 1 month free today. So if you haven't already hit up lifelapseapp.com/Planoly, please go do that. Our team is on standby, ready to send you the code. They are unique coupon codes, so we can't just plug in the code right here. But please do this after the workshop. We have a lot to get through in the next 30 to 40 minutes here, and I don't want you missing out on anything. Our team is gonna, I said they're on standby, so they can send it to you after. No worries there. All right, so today's agenda. We are going to be talking about the power of social media and using video on social media. Large brands using stop motion, including Kim Kardashian and Skims. How to create these stop motion videos using your phone, and how to make the most of your stop motion videos. So beyond posting to your feed, how can you use them to drive results for your business or your personal brand or the brand that you're working for? And then we're also going to dive into other multimedia types along with Q&A. So as I mentioned, we have a lot to get through here. I am pregnant, so if I sound very winded, it's because I am, and I'm sorry if I'm breathing really heavy and you have mesophobia, so you're like sensitive to noise. I'll try my best to like take pauses, but we are going to save all the Q&A until the end. And yes, so let's dive into it. So let's dive into the importance of video on social media. So you have 1.7 seconds to capture the attention of your audience as they are scrolling their life away on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever their platform of choice is. So we basically have the attention of goldfish these days, which is interesting. And if you're going to put all this time and effort into creating all these assets for your social media feed, why not make them eye-catching? Why not make them stand out? You're putting the time and money and resources into it. So it is important that it is like super engaging the second they see it. Otherwise, they're going to be gone. Video posts see 39% higher engagement compared to photo posts on Instagram. And they are twice as likely to get shared by friends, sharing other pieces of content with each other. So if that doesn't sell you on why you should be using video, I'm not sure what will. I think we all know in here that you should be using video. It's just a matter of how do you create this content? How do you work it into your workflow and your day-to-day activities as a business owner, as a creative, as an employee. So here's some examples of stop motions on, these are all stop motions. I was gonna say regular video, but as you can see on Instagram, it auto plays video, which is amazing because it really, if you're just scrolling, like a static image might not really slow your scroll, but something that looks like this, where there's objects moving on their own, it's really gonna like bring your user in and engage with your content. This is Instagram guides. So if you haven't heard, Instagram released guides, and they're basically mini blog posts that you can post on Instagram. And you can use your feed posts or other people's feed posts and incorporate them into a guide. And this is amazing. You can see that all of the videos that we included in this guide, they all autoplay. So it really captivates your audience, keeps them engaged with the guide, and hopefully encourages sharing. Another platform is Pinterest, which I think is actually pretty underrated. It's a search engine, as you may or may not know, and it's a visual search engine. And Pinterest, about 1 to 2 years ago, released video pins, and they also autoplay. So Pinterest, typically, there's a sea of static images, and like any platform, when they release a new feature, they favor that feature for their algorithm. So video is being favored. We use Pinterest a lot at Lapse and have seen some really amazing results because of it. This is my reminder to breathe, so you don't have to hear me like I sound like I ran a marathon. All right, y'all. So if Kim K can do stop motion, so can you. Jokes aside, I am 99% sure she did not shoot this video for Skims. She probably hired an agency and spent tens of thousands of dollars on using professional gear to make these videos. So these are all examples of stop motions and some awesome brands that are using them. We've got Sugarfina here and Glossier. And the beauty of stop motion is it looks like magic. So these products are all moving on their own, and that's what makes it so eye-catching. And although I don't know if they use Lapse or professional gear, a lot of this stuff is easy to do from your phone because look how simple the scenes are. It's literally just a white backdrop, and you just have to have good lighting, and then you're off to the races. It's all about like the backdrop and the lighting, and then it's comparable to all this shooting with professional gear. And we have done a test at Lapse where we shot with $17,000 worth of gear versus Lapse. And I should have actually included that in this presentation, but the resemblance is quite similar, and it saves you tons of time and money. So other reasons you should be using stop motion is they are short and loopable, which will increase your engagement. So if you see this one here, it's basically an endless loop. It's maybe like 5 photos, and it just keeps playing and playing. So that'll increase your engagement. It's perfect for places like Instagram feed where it does just continually loop. And then the other thing is with stop motion, it's so visual that like you don't need to rely on voiceovers or text to tell your story. So back to this one. It's super short, it's visual. You don't need to hear the song or the music to understand what's happening. And lastly, with stop motion, you can manipulate the scene so it looks like magic. So obviously these slippers are not moving on their own here. You're going into the scene and moving these between each photo, and we'll dive into that when we get into the stop motion tutorial. but that's what makes it look like magic, and what makes it scroll stopping is you get to manipulate it so that you have these products doing some really cool things that you couldn't otherwise do with a regular video format. All right, so how the heck do we create these stop motion videos? Let's dive into it. So this, believe it or not, is a stop motion project. And one thing you need to know about stop motion is it is actually made up of photos. So let's start on the top right or top left over here. You can see all these lounge beds. They are all flat. They're completely down. When we go to the second image, this one on the far left is tilted up a little bit. And then on the third photo, it's tilted up all the way. And then we repeat this process with the second chair. It's tilted up a little bit, and then it's more, and then it keeps going until all of the chairs are up. So I have my tripod set up on the ground here, and it's facing the chairs. And I'm standing to the left of these chairs, and in between each photo, I'm going in and moving the chairs so that they go up one at a time. Let me show you the final result. Here you go, magical chairs, if you will. Another thing is you see that they go down after they all go up. I did not make those chairs go down. I used our feature in Lapse called Boomerang, which you're all familiar with, I'm sure. And it basically plays the video forward and then backwards. So there's things inside the app like that that'll make shooting and editing your stop motion videos super easy. If you don't have a stop motion app, you could always just go in and put those chairs back down or duplicate all the photos and reverse them after. So what else you need for creating really awesome stop motion videos? So you need our app, which I mentioned, it's free to download. It's on iPhone and Android. And then the second important thing is you need a stable phone. So with stop motion, you do not want to be hand holding your camera in between each photo. And I'll show you why in a second. If you do not have a tripod, no worries. You could place your phone against a mug, like on a table here. Oh, you can't see it. See my, the green screen thing is doing it. But yeah, you could just place it against a mug or like a stack of books. If you're doing a flat lay, you could place your phone on the edge of a desk, shooting straight down, or on the edge of like a side table or a dining room table. These are all hacks so that your phone is not moving in between each photo. Consistent lighting. So this one is huge. And even though I just showed you an example with natural daylight, you actually want to avoid shooting with natural daylight. And let me show you why. So here's an example on the left of a handheld stop motion that's using natural light. The reason why there's a bit of flicker happening that you see here is because natural daylight is not controlled. So let's say you're shooting a 10-minute stop motion video, and at the beginning of your video, the sun is out. So it's nice and bright. You're shooting by the window. By the time you get to the couple last frames in your project, the sun goes behind the clouds and now it's dark. When you go to play this back at a high speed, which is what you need to do for stop motion, it's gonna result in this like flickering light look, which is not great. Like, especially if you're putting all this time and effort into animating and coming up with these cool concepts, you wanna use controlled lighting. So the one on the left here, I'm literally using my IKEA floor lamp and just pointing it at the scene. There's things in the app like, you know, increasing the brightness and updating the white balance so that you can tweak it to make it look like daylight. I know a lot of ring lights and stuff, they'll have the daylight option on them as well. So you can replicate that fresh look with daylight, but please try to avoid using daylight. Again, you probably think I'm a hypocrite, but for this one here, you can see there's not a single cloud in the sky. And I knew this would take me less than 5 minutes to shoot. So, I mean, I'm not saying never use it, you can, but if you're gonna do like more product-based stuff inside, then I do recommend using household lamps or professional lights like video lights that you might have bought from Amazon, like a ring light, for example. If this was sun and cloud here, this would have had way more flicker. Alrighty, so let's walk through a stop motion from beginning to end so you really understand the whole process. So this is a cup. You can see the scene is empty on the phone when I started. I'm taking a photo with the Bluetooth remote here so I don't have to keep touching the phone, and I'm moving the glass just a little bit. I don't know if you can see, but there's like a ghost overlay in the video, so it shows the previous image in the project. And this will help you figure out how far you have to move things, or let's say the cup like fell over. If you didn't know where it was previously, you'd probably have to start that video over again. You can disable that feature, but it's a really essential thing for stop motion so that you can figure out your movement and line things up properly. For the water, you can see that I'm literally just adding a tiny bit of water, taking a photo, adding a bit more, taking a photo. With stop motion, it's important you're just doing small movements between each shot. And we're just adding some fun props here, like the mint and the lime. And we're gonna see the end result here in a second. So push play. The app, it stitches everything together for you. So after you're done shooting, literally just push play and then it's done. So you can see this is really slow. It kind of looks like a jolty slideshow right now. So you just go to the speed section, increase the speed, and it will look like a regular style video, which is typically 24 frames played in 1 second. And because it abruptly ends as soon as it's done, we are going to freeze the last frame. So it just doesn't come in and then starts over again. It comes in, it fills up, and then it pauses for a few seconds. So that's a stop motion. And there's a million different things you can do with stop motion. You can really get, you can really get creative and do a bunch of different things. Let's talk about different ways to storytell with stop motion. So set your scene. So similar to photography, setting your scene can really help with your product or your brand. So maybe incorporate backdrop colors that are in your brand color kit. Lighting. So maybe, the lighting can really set the scene or the mood of the scene. You can see in this example here, I'm using a really hard light for that palm, that leaf thing. Sorry, I don't know what it's called, a ferns, something. And it looks like afternoon sunlight in the summer. It's a hard light. And that's the vibe I was going for. It's a very summery scene. If you wanted more like of an overcast, no shadows, you would use like a soft light. So maybe put like some sort of diffusion over your light, whether it be like wax paper or a softbox. Use props. So let's use the example for, let's say you are a lip gloss brand or a makeup brand or a skincare brand. Instead of just having a lip gloss in the scene, to really tell the whole story of what's happening, you could have things like, include your bathroom shelf in the scene, include a makeup bag, other products associated with that lip gloss that you might use. Of course, you can just have the lip gloss on its own, but if you want to tell more of like a cohesive story, think about how you can incorporate other props. And then, yeah, similar to props, like this would be a prop, this leaf. So it does give off that like summer vibe. Otherwise, it might just look like a glass in a studio because there wouldn't be like the harsh shadows from the leaf or the plant. And then in the animation, so how do you want to animate the scene to tell the story? And let me give you some examples here. So these are great examples of videos that they're stop motion videos, and they show the product. They show the user what their life is like before using their product versus after. So you can see here, there's like, a million items on this person's to-do list. And once they get the planner, it is all organized. So Yeah, that's example number 1. And then let's dive into this one here. Everything's a mess. It's so chaotic. Oh my goodness. And then bam, you've got organization in your life with this Bellroy like technology pack kit thing. Sorry, I don't know the technical term. And then Kind Snacks. This is a cool one that integrates technology. So they tap on the website and then these products just magically appear. Obviously they're promoting like that you can order on their website here. So something with these is like, how would you have conveyed this with a static image? Like this video is, you know, under 20 seconds, and it really tells the story in a very short and concise way. If you had regular video, how could you do this without a voiceover or, you know, using text graphics in the video? So let's move on. Let's do an exercise so that you can leave this workshop with ideas for stop motion or videos that you can create for your brand or your feed, whatever it is that you want to shoot videos for. So there's 7 questions you can ask yourself on what animation you can do. Can you move the props and keep the object still? So again, this palm leaf here is moving and the drink is staying still. So it doesn't always have to be, you know, everything moving at once. It can be as simple as this. This is like maybe 4 photos and it's boomerang. And it's just an endless loop of, you know, a simple motion added to a scene. Can you change the angle or position of the scene so that it looks different? This scene is much different than shooting straight on. Like in the previous video, we have, you know, our sunglasses, the limes. It's a whole different scene and a new video that you can make just by changing the angle of the video. And it has to do with like the prop styling too. So you're changing the way the props are laid out. Can you show the process? So for example, a drink filling up, or in those 3 examples I showed with the brands of, you know, before they use their product versus after. What can you do with your product or service that will show the process? So let's say you're a service-based company like a photographer. For that, you could do, you know, maybe you have all your gear going into your camera bag so that you're ready for a shoot. I know people with service-based products, they struggle when it comes to stop motion because they don't have a physical product to feature, but there's so many products associated with your service, I would assume, that you could use, like even a laptop, for example, or an iPhone, or a keyboard, or even like a cup of coffee, reading a book. There's so many things you can do, and I'm always happy to offer suggestions on ideas, so just let me know. Do you want to give the illusion of the object moving on its own? So for this one, the props in the scene, it's not moving. It's the drink coming in back and forth. Again, this one is boomeranged as well. So with all the boomerang ones, I'm just shooting it in one direction and then I boomerang it in post. So I'm not animating it both ways as I'm filming. Do you want it to get added or removed? So you can see with these lines, they're not like sliding into the frame. I'm literally just, I had them all set up at first and then took a photo, removed one, took a photo, and it has this fun little effect. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos. It took less than a minute to shoot, and it's much more eye-catching than just having a static image. So it doesn't have to be complicated. There's tons of different things you can do. Can you rotate, spin, or move the object or move the props back and forth? So here's an example of the limes. They're the props, and they're, again, just a simple motion added to what otherwise would have been a static scene. And lastly, nothing in the scene is moving. For this one, I'm actually moving the light backwards between each photo, and this gives the illusion of a time lapse. So you don't always have to be moving stuff in the scene to add some motion to it. All right, so let's talk about making the most of your stop motion videos. Maintain your aesthetics. So when you're posting videos on Instagram, you should choose your cover image. So if you don't choose your cover image, Instagram will automatically select the first image in the scene as the cover image. The cover image is what you will see on your grid, on your Instagram profile. Yeah, when you're on your profile, that's the image you'll see. So if you're doing, when I did that walkthrough of the stop motion video getting made of the cup coming in and then the glass filling up, if we didn't choose manually that image with the cup as the cover image, the first image would have been just this empty scene, which maybe you necessarily don't want. It's not representative of the video or your product or your brand. So it's important you do that when you're uploading, because once it's uploaded, you cannot change it. And it's really annoying when you've created this amazing video and you're like, you've got your aesthetic down pat on your feed, and then bam, it's like a white, like a black, or sorry, like just an empty image of a scene that's there, and there's no like cool prop styling or anything in it yet. You can also utilize stop motions in your Reels or TikToks. If you're utilizing those platforms, you don't necessarily have to post stop motion so that they're just a stop motion video. You can combine them with other video clips. So all like Reels and TikToks, they have editors. You can import multiple clips at once. So maybe the stop motion is just one element of the video to add that, that touch of magic, so it looks like things are moving on their own. And then repurpose your content. So the beauty of stop motion is it is made up of photos, individual photos. So you can go in and save those images and use them across your other marketing channels to really maximize your efforts. And then posting it beyond social media, beyond your social media feed. So putting it in places like your website, product pages, incorporating into your emails. I'm going to show you the workflow that we use when we create any piece of content, but specifically for stop motions, we'll post it to TikTok with a trending song. We post it to Pinterest. So we have like at minimum 10 different templates. Each template has different color backdrops, different styling, different copy, different calls to action. And we're literally plugging in the same video into each of those templates and then scheduling them out over a couple weeks time. And we'll point them to different places. Like sometimes you like download our app, maybe go to YouTube and learn this tutorial, or here's a blog post, or go to our website and check out this product. I think a lot of people get stuck in the always having to create new content mode instead of maximizing everything they already have. Like there's so much you can leverage with one piece of content. If you just have this workflow down, so you're not wasting it and just constantly being, on the need for creating more and more videos. I know I personally struggle with that because I'm always creating videos and always feel like we need to do more. But it's like, we've gotten into a good rhythm at Lapse where we have this workflow now, and we really do maximize everything we create. And we're really seeing the benefits of that. We just started that this year. I know our Pinterest, I think last month we had 5 million impressions. And this is something we put 1 to 2 hours of effort into a week. Reels, those are always our top performing posts these days on Instagram. And then, so other things you can do to maximize your content is email. So you can save stop motion videos as GIFs right in Lapse. The beauty of GIFs in email is that it autoplays, so it looks like a video. So you can use that and point people into a product or somewhere on your website or whatever it is that you're promoting. You can also incorporate some motion onto your website, your product pages, landing pages, blog posts even. I know we use GIFs as our blog thumbnails. And I don't know, it really stands out when you're sharing that blog post. And then even when you go to our blog, like our blog in general, and you see all the different blog posts, it's a more representative of what's happening in that blog versus just a static image. And then of course, other platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you're going to make all this content, why not just post it there as well? It won't take that long. I know a lot of people will say, you know, niche down onto one platform. And my team and I are like, we do focus a lot on Instagram, and now we're starting to focus on TikTok. But we don't stop posting on these other platforms. Other types of multimedia you can create with Lapse. So technically this bottom one here, this is a video file, but when I say GIF, I'm referring to the style of video. So like a GIF style video, and I don't know, maybe I'm just making this up, I see it as like a slowed down video. So this was shot on a high speed, a high shutter speed on my DSLR camera, and then I Wi-Fi'd the photos to my phone and brought them into Lapse and made this GIF. You could do this in Lapse by having like the 1 second interval timer on if you don't want to use a DSLR. And the reason why I call it like a GIF and not like a stop motion style video is because you're not really going in between the scene and manipulating things between each shot. You're literally just capturing it as it happens, and then you play it back, and it looks like a fun, like a different style of video than a regular video. Next up, we have hyperlapse. So you can do some really, really fun creative portraits with people featuring hyperlapse videos. And then of course, we've got the traditional time lapse, had to put a cliche sunset in there. And then this is Teresa, our head of marketing, and you can create, this would be an example of like, you are manipulating the image between each photo, and you can give the illusion that she is flying. So we did this by actually, we did a video clip, one video clip. I have it on a tripod, so a regular iPhone camera, and she just jumped and put her legs up in each position. And then I went back in the video, and every time her legs were up, I screenshotted the video and then imported those screenshots into Lapse, and this was the result. Instead of trying to take a photo and making sure her legs were at the right spot for each one, because that would be hard to do with iPhone cameras are amazing, but like the shutter speed isn't quite there yet to capture that speed at that right moment. And to prevent Teresa from having the workout of her life, we just did the video clip and then screenshotted everything. All right, so let's dive into some examples here. We are almost done the workshop. We'll dive into questions after, but I want to leave you with some inspiration for different categories so that you can get the wheels turning for yourself and what videos you can be creating. So these are all stop motion videos. Some of them you can see they're from places like Dunkin', Starbucks, and Whole Foods. Other ones are ones that we've created in-house with Lapse. So lots of fun little clips here, stop motion. It's fun, it is. Like, it looks like magic. There's so many cool things you can do, especially if you like style it nicely, like this one here. Product. So here's different examples of different products and how they utilize it. I love this Everlane one. It's showing the process and the material that they use. There's a fun one from Target, and then we've got Herschel, and then the rest are ones that we've shot featuring clothes, skincare products. We've got some shoes here, more products, and then some from this eyewear company. Interior. So this is one that I'm seeing getting really popular on TikTok and Reels. All these videos here were shot with Lapse, except for IKEA and Article, though they might have shot with Lapse. I'm not sure, there's no way to actually know. But these are from our users and then some from ourselves. And you can do so many fun, creative things. Sorry, I feel like I've said you can do so many fun things like 1,000 times. I need to think of a new word there. You can get really creative with stop motion and create playful videos. There you go. Another word for fun. So on that note, I know stop motion may seem overwhelming because it seems tedious. You have to have lighting and a tripod. I promise you, once you just start shooting, It'll come really easy to you. You'll practice and you'll start to get to know what works, what doesn't, in terms of like how far you have to move objects. There we go, the word fun, have fun with it. Creating content is fun. Like it's not nothing serious. So just get out there, practice, and see what you can create. If you need some inspiration, please hit up our social media channels. We're most active on Instagram, like I said. Our handle is lifelapse_app. And we love featuring videos from our users, so you can get really inspired there. And then we also post a lot of tutorials. So we do include lots of tutorials inside of our app. However, it takes time to develop and put those into the app. So they always hit our social feeds first. So if you want to stay on top of new techniques and different ideas on how to do things, please give us a follow there. All right, questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. I know that was so helpful for me because yeah, stop motion just seems so intimidating whenever you like first generally look at it, but it's great to see that y'all have an app that makes it so simple and easy to use. We are going to head into a Q&A, but also if you do have to log off early, no worries. We will be sending the recording to everyone. And then also make sure to go to our Facebook page and join that, because any questions we don't have answered here today, we will be answering on our Facebook group with Sarah for the following hour after this workshop. So make sure to go join that and ask any questions that you have there as well. So we have a few questions coming in from attendees. So the first one, this person's never used stop motion in their social media before, but they really want to have like an aesthetic Instagram grid. How do they make sure that their feed and branding still aligns while they're adding videos to like stop motion videos to their grid? So that way it's like not too much of a jarring transition between the two.
Totally. So back to incorporating backdrops and props that align with your brand. I'm not sure what you mean by like maintaining your aesthetics. Are you like a product-based business, or are you sharing like text-based graphics in your word the video might stand out? Or is it like, I don't know if this person can like follow up on the question, but I think yeah, incorporating backdrops and props with your color so that it does have the same aesthetic and you have the feed does look cohesive is my number one recommendation there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like you were mentioning earlier, that photo that like is the grid photo that you choose for your cover photo, I think that's going to really help to like make sure that grid stays aesthetic and perfect as well.
Yeah, and if you wanted if you're not doing a video that's looping all the time, you could create an image on Canva or something or whatever it is that does align with your brand and put that at the end of the Life Lapse project and then select that as your cover photo. The only thing is with that is if you do have a looping video, it's going to play that like, you know, at the end and then go back into the video. So it won't look as seamless in the feed. But that's one way to get around it. I would say just try it. Like, I know a lot of people are worried about their aesthetic, but I mean, we saw the numbers for video and with reels and everything, it is moving towards more of a, I don't know, a scrappy look, a more real look. So I'm not saying you have to go full gung ho with like, you know, text from stories into your feed and all that stuff. But why not just try it and then see how it looks, see how it performs. And then worst case scenario, you just take it down from your feed. I don't think we're going to get in trouble here if one image is slightly off from your feed.
Awesome. So kind of along that line, you were saying that it's good to have some background images. So if you don't have a creative background or like design training, what are some tips that you think of when creating like a scene? They don't want to have too much white space, but they also don't want it to feel too overwhelming. Do you have like a general rule of thumb that you use when creating those stop motions to have like enough going on, but not too much?
That's a great question. I go to places like Pinterest and Instagram a lot for inspiration, and I save a lot of things that I like the styling of. I know for like those ones where I showed you all the different animation styles with the drinks, I just looked up like cocktail photography on Pinterest, and that's what inspired me to do like the palm leaf and I had the pink backdrop. But in terms of like knowing what to do, is like, what is your product and what is your scene? Obviously, if you have a flat lay with, you know, like a notebook, a phone, a pen, you're not going to want like a really busy backdrop for that. You want to keep it minimal so it balances out. And then in terms of like figuring out your backdrops, where to get them, how to use them. So we just tape them against our wall and then put a table against the wall and do that. You can, of course, like buy photography backdrop stands and use that, but we like to be scrappy because we know all of our, you know, a lot of our users, they're not professional photographers. We got to use what's around our house and what's available and do a lot of like DIY style things. So just taping it against the back of your wall. We go to places like our local craft store here in Vancouver. It's called Desairs. Michael's does have some of those Bristol board backgrounds or like poster board papers. But the craft store has literally hundreds of colors and you can really get like, you know, a wide range, and they're like $2 each. And it's great because you can have, you know, all your brand colors. There's so many different shades. It's more than just like the primary very jarring colors. You would probably get it somewhere like Dollarama or Dollar Tree. We get some there too if we do want more colorful ones. But yeah, I would say just experiment and try and balance it out. So if you do have a busy scene that you want to do, then go with a more simple backdrop versus if you are just doing, you know, I've got nail polish here. So if you're just featuring this nail polish, then maybe this would be a scenario where you build up more of your props and more of your backdrops and get more colorful and playful with that.
Absolutely. And I love how you're kind of talking about the different colors of the backdrops, and that kind of ties in with our last question that was asking about aesthetic and stuff. I know throughout this approachable design workshop, we've been talking about how can you tie in your branding to everything. So that could be a great way to tie in your brand colors that we worked on one of our past workshops. You can use those brand colors that you have chosen and then use that as a background. And that way, like that fits into your feed a lot better as well. So it's kind of, I feel like one way that you could incorporate your branding into like backdrops and things like that.
Yeah. And then another thing, well, we attempted to do this for Valentine's Day, but it was a total fail. But we're going to find a way around it. We got these like styrofoam blocks from Michael's. And I don't know if you ever see like with product shoots, sometimes they'll like be, you know, the nail polish will be propped up on like a block and then there'll be something down below. So like it adds some depth and dimension to the video. And we attempted to paint that. And it was kind of a disaster, but we're going to find another solution. So stay tuned on our social media feed, because that's another way of how to style a scene. And you could obviously like custom paint those to be like your brand colors, whatever it is that you want it to be.
Awesome. So my next question is a little bit more technical, and I know this could definitely change per project that you're doing, but do you have a rule of thumb of like what your ideal frame per second ratio could be, or does that just more depend on what you're shooting?
So it totally depends on what you're shooting. And let me go back to show you. Something like this is playing at a much slower frame rate than this. This is probably 24 frames a second, which is when you take a video clip on your iPhone, it's either 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. So it's essentially 30 images playing in 1 second. And that's what this kind of looks like. It looks like a real video. In Lapse, we don't go by frames per second. Actually, we just have a slider, and it's like a turtle on one side and a bunny on the other. So generally speaking, just like move the slider all the way like close to the end of where the bunny is. If you want to achieve this look versus this, if you played it super fast, like it would just look, it'd be too much.
Yeah, it'd be like jarring to watch that.
Yeah, like shoot your video and just play around with it. You could also export 2 different options if you want. But like I said, the more you practice and shoot these videos, the more easily it'll come to you on what settings to do, how much you need to move objects, all that stuff.
Awesome. I love that. And I think that's so cool too. Like, I feel like originally I thought there was only one way to make stop motion. But now it's like there's so many different little things that you can tweak to make it feel so different. I think that's like really exciting, and that's why you keep saying it's fun and you should test things. Awesome. Well, we are out of time for today, but thank you all so much for joining us. As I mentioned before, Sarah will be on our Facebook page for the next hour to answer any questions. So if you want help coming up with ideas of how to use stop motion for your own brand, you have questions about adding different products to stop motion, anything like that, please feel free to go to our Facebook group and Sarah will be answering any questions that you may have there. Also, a lot of y'all were really active in the chat box, and we love to see that. And I know you guys were sharing how you've created stop motion. So again, join our Facebook page so that everyone can see how you created it and we can all share our inspiration with each other. But thank you so much for joining us. And I do have one update. Last week, we were not able to have our Stories Edit 101 workshop just because of the weather that was happening here in Austin, Texas. So we will be having that last workshop of the Approachable Design workshop series next week. So I hope you can all join us as well. Thank you, Sarah, today for having us be a part of this workshop.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to chatting with you guys more in the Facebook group if you have any other questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I hope you all have a great day.